And here we are, just checking microphone. Okay, so I just wanted to touch base. It's a new year, and I've been thinking about a few things. At the moment, I don't have a lot of spare time, so that's why I'm sort of jumping on now and just having a quick vlog. But I had some ideas about where I wanted to head with my life, being that I've just turned 50. And I just wanted to share that kind of sets the seed in stone if I share it on these social media platforms. So I want to talk about futurism, or I want to read my manifesto, my futurist manifesto, because I've always kind of focused really on what I want to do for myself, but how it also impacts the future of humanity, because we all have an impact, no matter how small it may be. But if you can increase the ripples that you make, the impact that you have a greater reach, there's the potential. I've got to stop clicking. There's a potential for great change, or to be a instigator for great change. And I'd like to make sure that that great change is positive. So this is my manifesto. We, a collective at the moment, it's just a collective of me, of creative, analytical, practical, and inventive minds, believe in the continuation of human knowledge and the progression of technology as a means to enhance the well-being of future generations. Our agenda is to work with new AI, robotic, and biological technologies, as well as agricultural, technological, horticultural techniques, traditional horticultural techniques, and organic growing concepts and sustainable horticultural practices to develop a humanity to its next level. We recognise the importance of establishing guidelines and rules to prevent the misuse and commercialisation of knowledge and open source data. We are inspired by previous futurist organisations which initiated modernism, and our goal is to create a sustainable future for humanity, initiating projects to minimise environmental contamination, store and archive knowledge, and create knowledge seeds for future generations. We aim to be a new collective of minds that share a common vision for human sustainability. So I'm not the only futurist. There's a few futurists out there. It's just nice to put a tag to my philosophy. And I've got a little note here on my manifesto, which I'm going to just read out now. Sorry about this. This is probably pretty boring. Maybe it's pretty boring. I don't know. But it's a seed for me. And now the note is, I believe that changing perspectives is more effective if it does not come from an aggressive discourse. If we battle with conflicting perspectives and agendas, people will dig their heels in and get into fight or flight. If we can instead lead by example or use more subtle and caring ways of trying to change or evolve the human perspective, we will meet far less resistance or ridicule. And yeah, that's just really because, I mean, obviously a lot of people want change. A lot of people have lost faith in the government, and medical practices, throughout the pandemic, and themselves, and their security that they felt that they had in their lives, from being exposed to a pandemic in such an aggressive way. There's actually been multiple pandemics, by the way. This isn't the first one. In my lifetime, there's been Ebola. There's been HIV. There's been quite a few, SARS, and those are just the human ones. Like the things that can affect us are not just human pandemics, also animal pandemics. So we have to be aware of all kind of pandemics. But we also have to be aware of our governments and the people that administrate our vaccinations and all those kind of things, because the agendas are often for profit rather than for care. And I think that it's pretty safe to say that there has been some sensationalism over the pandemic, because money is money and drama sells. That's basically it, guys. It's like you can add a whole bunch of conspiracy into there as well, but this is just commercialization of a current climate, a current social political climate. So, they're just exploiting our current social anthropology. So, and we've allowed that to happen. So essentially my futurism movement, or the idea of it, the seed of it, is to get the truth out, or understand what the truth is, and filter out a lot of the agenda stuff, a lot of the politics, because I'm not interested in politics in any way, shape, or form. Egos, it's all got to be kind of stripped bare, because we need to think about the future generations, not ourselves. So there's no point of feeding our own egos. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a positive or healthy or even a big ego. I'm an artist. I've got a huge ego. But in fact, you can exploit that. So to have a big ego and to have success and fame, or can be an advantage, because you can utilize that to get your message out a bit further. So there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something wrong with it when people are kind of sensationalizing topics in order to just get clicks. And that includes the media outlets. And that also includes your influencers and everybody. Lots of people, we love to get those likes. I hardly ever leave the property at the moment. So, any positive feedback is good for me. So I do go out and try and seek it to a certain extent. But I'm sort of aware that that's not a healthy way to do it. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is, what I'm trying to establish here is what's the kind of future that you want for your kids. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have kids. I'm 50 years old now. I'd have to meet somebody who's younger than me who still wants to continue to have children. So, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to make a mark in humanity, and as an artist, as a philosopher, as a writer. And one of the ways in which I can do that is via publications and via productions, and which is what I do. That's what I do. As I make publications, I make productions, and I put them out into the world. So there's a way in which I can get my message across in a sustainable way, so that it extends beyond my lifespan, and then maybe somebody will find that and run with that. Because essentially that's what we want. Is we want people to adopt a philosophy that's a positive, healthy, progressive philosophy for a positive future, and not exploit our future for their own agendas. So, yeah. Don't know if any of that made sense. Again, I'm just planting seeds, and I'm just talking to a camera, and it's not exactly the most stimulating thing. But I did just want to plant the seed here in these in my channels, let you guys know what my philosophy is, what I want to try and do. And I really want to advance technology in a positive way. And I've been inspired, and I will continually be inspired by previous organizations that have done that in the past, like the Successionist movement in Art Nouveau, like the Renaissance movement, where people were trying to rediscover the sciences without the stigmas of religion and the restrictions of religion. So they're just reinventing everything instead of being told, okay, well, the world is this way and you can't question it, because if you do, it's satanic. They went and just questioned everything, for better or for worse, and it was better for us as humanity, as a species, to do that, because we'd reached a point of we were sort of locked, mentally locked, and not allowing ourselves to advance. We don't want to get to that point again. So we can sort of see that things are happening now, and people are freaking out about new technologies like artificial intelligence. Understandably, there are dangers of artificial intelligence, but there's still the opportunity, and I'm not the only one who, has this philosophy. There is still the opportunity for a positive, healthy, utopian future. And maybe we can be part of the start of that. Maybe we can build this movement, do our best to protect, heritage genetic seed banks, things like that, traditional growing practices, traditional knowledge, cultural knowledge, art, music, and just free discourse without the involvement of commercialization, without the involvement of capitalization or politics. That would be good. That's because none of those things are important for the continuation of humanity. And I think that's the flaw of politics, is that all political systems work on a limited time span. And as soon as they're out, they don't really care. They've got their votes, they've made their profits. So they're usually working for capitalization, rather than for progression. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully this podcast all worked and it didn't just stop the stream. But yeah, that's my new philosophy, or it's not really a new philosophy. It's my old philosophy that I'm doubling down on and refining a little bit better. Okay. Have a wonderful Sunday. I'll talk to you soon. Maybe. Probably not. I'm quite busy, but I'll talk to you eventually. Okay. Bye.